Alright, first off, I want to apologize in advance if this comes off as a gifted hater type video, but we really have to talk about this new Supreme video. More specifically, we need to talk about William Strubeck's filming. And what I'm going to say in this video, I don't mean to take anything away from the video, I don't mean to take anything away from the skaters. The skating is amazing, it's really high tier, amazing skating. Overall, it's a great skate video, but the filming really, man, it ruins a lot of tricks, this whole craze of the whole William Strubeck filming thing, because I think it's time we retire this and just go back to some more traditional skateboarding filming that has worked for years and years, or just try something else, because I don't think this is working. Let's get into it. Alright, so we're obviously not going to sit through the whole 53 minutes of Play Dead. I'm going to be honest, I haven't even got through the entire thing. I've only watched certain parts from this video. I couldn't get through the whole thing because of the filming. That's on me. Maybe I'm being a crybaby or whatever, but I feel like it's easy to feel a bit nauseous after half an hour even just of Strubeck zooming into the skater's face and then quickly swiping down to their feet and then swiping back up to their face. Yeah, it's like being on a roller coaster or something. So I feel like you can just kind of pretty much click anywhere on the timeline and you're going to get a badly filmed trick. There's one right there that I don't think is filmed that well, in all honesty. So a lot of the problem is that William Strubeck really likes to cut off the skater and only film their feet. And this happens in so many clips where he's really zoomed in on their shoes and on their feet. You know, so after like even 10 minutes of watching this, you can feel pretty nauseous, okay? The camera is moving way too much. This is the kind of filming that you would see on a really badly filmed Sponsor Me tape from some kid who just learned how to skate and their friends filming them on their phone. The fact that, you know, this could be filmed on an iPhone for all we know, right? Because it's just William Strubeck standing, or whoever's filming this. Look how close he is to the skater. He's either really zoomed in or he's literally standing right there. And look how little of the skater is in frame. All we can see is his New Balances and the board. Now, I've been skating for 13 years. My life has been surrounded with skateboarding for 13 years, right? Even longer than that, to be honest. I've always been pretty certain that it's considered bad filming and bad practice when you cut off the top half of the skater when you're filming. Obviously, you can cut off the skater at the roll up, you can cut off the skater at the, roll away, because those bits don't matter. But for the trick, for the purpose of seeing the actual trick be performed, you want the entire skater in. The board, feet, all the way up to the skater's head. Maybe this is just me, but to me, this just is not good filming. I mean, you can barely see the trick, and you can't appreciate the trick for what it is when you can't even see the skater actually doing it. All you see is a board and some feet flipping. And I know that that's the main focus of a trick, but I mean, you could barely see that. Look how little of the skater is in frame. I want to see the entire skater because it's not just about the board being flicked. It's not just about the trick. It's about the whole style of the skater. It's about the steez. I want to see this skater style. If you're cutting off the skater's top half, there could be anybody doing this trick. It doesn't matter who it is because we can't see their style at all. And yes, everybody flicks differently. Everybody does their tricks differently. Sure. Part of skating, and I think part of what makes it an art form, is not just the board. It's not just what the feet are doing. It's how the skater looks. You would never see a skateboarding photo like this. Look how little of the skater is on frame. The skateboarding photo captures the entire skater, their body, the position of their body in the trick, along with the board, and what's actually happening with their feet and with the board, but it's also what's happening with their body and what way they're standing and their stance and the way their arms are, because that's all part of the steez of a trick. That's what makes the trick look good. He could have just taken a couple of steps back and got the entire skater in frame, and he could have still zoomed in and zoomed out and everything like that. I mean, this one's not so bad, but some of the clips, it looks like that he's literally standing right there, like right beside the skater, and he really shouldn't be that close. And if you are going to be that close, use a wide angle lens or something. Obviously not every single clip is bad, and a lot of clips work well with Strubeck stuff. Right, I mean, come on. I was saying that a lot of clips do work well with Strubeck's type of filming, obviously. And I'm not saying the entire thing is filmed bad, but look at this. Right, so really zoomed in on the skater's face, okay? And then really quickly flies down to his Vans just as he's about to pop. This entire time, the whole top half of the skater's been cut off. And then look how much he zooms in. Is this necessary? Is this necessary? I would have much rather watched this front tail to 50 from a wider point of view where I could see the whole thing going down. Like, I want to watch these guys skate for them and for their style. I don't just want to watch a board and some shoes. I feel like this is a massive shoe advertisement. I mean, in this frame right here, and by the way, as well, I'll mention while we're on this, I know I'm jumping between things, but this video is so dark. What's with the color correction? I know it's kind of like a supreme thing to have like the contrast really high or something, but like, look at this frame. And of course you could say it's my screen, or you could say it's YouTube, and you know, maybe it is. Try and spot the skater. You can barely see him. Almost his entire body is cut off the frame. The board is just barely above the frame, and then the landing is pretty much cut off by this because of where it was filmed. This would have looked better if it was filmed from here. I realize you can't see where I'm pointing because I'm doing it on the screen. Yeah, over here, you know, if this was being filmed from this direction, where you could see the entire thing, you could see the entire obstacle, you'd be able to see him running up from there, and you'd also wouldn't have the landing cut off by this piece of concrete. That's just a bad angle in my personal opinion, and I'm not by any means a professional skateboard filmer, not at all, but William Strubeck is, and I kind of feel like I'd expect better from a professional filmer than this. All right, so let's cut ahead a little bit to some other parts. Now, like I said, I haven't watched the full 53 minutes, but I'm pretty sure that there is a very considerably less amount of fisheye clips than there is long lens, zoom in, zoom out, Strubeck. There is some fisheye clips, like right here. There's some more traditional fisheye clips for lines and whatnot, which makes sense. Look how close he is. You know, it looks fine here, and you know, yeah, you have the time in between where there's no tricks going down, so sure, be creative and zoom into his face. But then when it comes to the trick, look how close he is to the skater. Like, did you really have to be that close? Could you not have moved back a little bit? I don't know. It just really reeks of badly filmed edits by children that you see all over YouTube. People are maybe going to hate me for this opinion, but that's really what it looks like to me. This looks like something that I would have filmed when I was 13. This line was just filmed very messy, in my opinion. It kind of looked like Strubeck didn't really know what he was doing or where he was going. I don't know. It's moving about. There's so much quick camera movement, and I would have rather have seen the full skater in this trick than just that small section of him. But maybe this is what people like. I don't know. By the way, the skating is top notch. Like, the skating is insane in this video, and like I said, I'm not taking away from any of the skating. It's amazing. How dark this whole scene is. You couldn't have brightened this up a little bit in post. You know, you could have got like a light on the camera or something at least. And here's another really bad offender in my opinion. First off, it starts really dark, and then, you know, it's fine, it gets lighter, but then, look at this. This looks like a Dan Corrigan thumbnail or something. This doesn't look like a full professional skate part. The skater is basically not there. You know, Adidas are just about in frame. The majority of this is taken up by the stair set. And I bet this backside flip looked sick, but we hardly got to see it. We barely got to see the backside flip, and because we couldn't see the skater doing the trick, it just looked like any other backside flip that we've ever seen. Didn't have any of his style, any of his steez. That could have been anyone doing the trick. If it wasn't for the zoom into these skaters' faces, you know, it could be anybody. The rest of the video won't load. Alright, we're back. And there's another advert. We just had an advert and I had to refresh. So, you know, again, a lot of this isn't so bad. I'm not too keen on that one. A lot of it isn't so bad, and a lot of the time his filming does work. Maybe it works there because he did a very small kind of nose bonk, so having that closer view definitely shows it off better. I mean, I just don't know why he chooses to frame this, but he chooses to prioritize like the ground and the obstacle over the skater more. You really need to find a balance in both. You need to show what the obstacle the skater's skating, but also show the skater doing it. This really takes away from the trick when the majority of the screen is taken up with just the obstacle itself. You know, and again, when he's a little bit further away from the actual thing they're skating, it works better. And then we get some nice fisheye shots. I love it. Really fanboying the fisheye here, but you know, it works. And now we're getting to Tyshawn's part. Now this is one of the worst offenders in my opinion, and especially on that final trick. And I don't know what it is, but so much of Tyshawn's part is filmed so badly, and it's such a shame because he's one of the best skaters right now and his part is insane. You know, this guy's top running for skater of the year right now. This part, you know, it may very well solidify that for him, but with this kind of filming, I don't know. But you know, we have this where he gets, of course, right next to Strubeck because Strubeck doesn't social distance from the skaters. But this is fine because it then moves into the fisheye shot. But I have a problem with the fisheye filament in this part too. I just feel like the fisheye filament is not good at all. First of all, we're filming this, like, this is just the back of the skater. This is the back of Tyshawn for this whole shot. And I'm pretty sure one of the kind of rules of filming lines is you try not to film the back of the skater. You always try and keep in front of the skater. And yes, it doesn't always work. And in this situation, you know, in this scenario, yeah, I guess he couldn't really get to the front of the skater. Just having this section just being the back of Tyshawn, it's just, it's not as, it just doesn't look as good in my opinion. Okay, so here's the filmer decided to get to the front of the skater. So, okay, I guess he could have been at the front of Tyshawn for that other line. Look how dark this is. You can barely see what's going on. Not only can you hardly see what's going on because they don't have a filmer light on the camera for some reason, but this last trick, the last trick of that line, the what is it, nollie hard flip, it's just filmed so badly. You can't even see the board in this shot. I can't see the board because it's so dark. Essentially, the trash can is like in front of the trick the entire time. It's like I'm looking at the trash can and it looks like the filmer had to avoid the trash can. And look, I'm not, you know, nobody's perfect, of course. Strubeck, I imagine this is Strubeck filming the long lens here. He doesn't really do the trick justice either with this angle because he cuts off most of Tyshawn. And again, it's very dark. Same here, can barely see anything. The nollie inward heel is insane. Tyshawn is an incredible skater. Like, his pop is, it knows no bounds. It's insane. I wish the filming could do him more justice. Didn't like that so much. They did actually have all of Tyshawn in for that trick. He zoomed in like ridiculously to his grip tape, like he's trying to sell us the grip tape, but he manages to get like the majority of Tyshawn in for the majority of that trick, so it's fine. Weird that he filmed it from behind. I feel like filming from here would have been a better angle. And I know I'm just repeating myself over and over again here, but I mean, come on. If you just looked at this still image, this one frame, without knowing there was a skater in it, it would probably take you a good 5 seconds to actually notice, oh, there's a skateboarder. Because I can see that there's a handrail, I can see there's a rail, I can see there's a car, trees, stairs, because they're taking up the majority of the frame. But Tyshawn, you know, the one who's actually we're supposed to be focusing on doing the trick, is way up here, barely in frame. This trick really could have been filmed. I think it would have been better being filmed from the front. It's just like, it's like Strubeck doesn't actually even put any thought into where he's filming from. It's just wherever he happens to be standing, he just films the skaters. And I know that his whole type of filming and this whole kind of the whole thing with Supreme is that he just kind of sets up, he doesn't like set up a whole thing, he just films them skate and just lets them skate, which I think is fine for shorter edits. But when it's meant to be a full length, you know, you need to put a little bit more effort into the angles so you really do the tricks justice. Again, same deal here. Like, you know, you could have just gone back a few more steps there, Strubeck, and we could have got a better representation of the height of this trash can, and also we could have seen, I mean, he's cut off all the way until the end. Like, that just doesn't look, that's just not good filming in my opinion. Again, it's really a really dark scene here. This is the same spot as before. Alright, so here we are. We've got to the ender. Final trick. The trick that is responsible for one of the most legendary Thrasher covers of all time. A photo that Atiba said himself, apparently, that is the best photo he's ever taken. Or one of them, anyway. In the photo, you can see how huge this is. And, like, this is going down in history as an insane, is one of the biggest kickflips ever. But, just watch it here. And he puts it back in slow-mo, too, because just in case you missed it. That does not look like a big gap. That looks like anybody can kickflip it. When you compare this shot right here to the photo, the difference is night and day. The photo is like only Tyshawn could do that gap. It is insanely big. It fits 2 trains in that gap. But you look at it here, that looks like a, I don't know, it looks like if someone lay down, there would be length of that. Oh, and also, not to mention that he is zoomed in. The entire trick, it's zoomed in. Look at that. Tyshawn is barely on in the frame. You can just about see his shoes. You know, maybe I am just getting too wound up about this whole thing. And maybe people are going to really disagree with me, but this trick, one of the most insane, legendary tricks that has gone down in recent years of skateboarding, has just been made to look so, not to be harsh, but pathetic because of the angle of the filming. And look, this is, I'm not taking anything. This isn't meant to take anything away from Tyshawn or any of the other skaters, because these tricks are incredible. They are amazing. They're some of the best skateboarding in, you know, recent years. And this trick in particular really is going down in history as one of the best kickflips ever done. Thanks to the Thrasher cover, we'll have that amazing shot forever. Really could have got a better angle. Like, if Strubeck really wanted this to look as big as it actually is, he probably could have got a better angle. I'm sure there's plenty of other angles that would have worked out better than this, or even got 2 different angles so that you didn't just repeat the same clip one after the other but in slow-mo. I just really don't think they did that trick justice at all. And I know I'm not alone in this. I've seen a lot of comments. If we go down into the comment section, obviously a lot of people talking about the skating and how amazing the skating is. Right here, Strubeck didn't do the last trick justice. 69 replies. Hey, Strubeck didn't do the majority of these tricks justice. Luckily for that subway kickflip and the tray flip, there's photographs. Never forget what he did to Tyshawn's switch flip at Washington Square Park in Blast. Only Strubeck could make that ender look like I could do it. Imagine making one of the most talked about Thrasher covers in a while look small. Strubeck, the best shoe filmer of our generation. This needs an FOV slider. Again, I'm going to reiterate for like the 100th time that the skating is amazing. All the skaters deserve all the praise they can get. They killed it. The whole video and, you know, the whole Supreme team, insane. The video was great. There was even a section where Gon's got some tricks, which was awesome. And, you know, Strubeck has done a lot for skateboarding, and obviously his filming style has really, you know, kind of blew up and became its own brand. And it's definitely partly responsible for how kind of unique and how much Supreme blew up, obviously. And it started off a whole trend of this kind of thing with fucking awesome, illegal save. And, you know, it started a whole thing. But I think it's time for a change, and I think it's time for Strubeck to rethink his filming technique. A full 53-minute video of zooming in on somebody's face for the whole run-up to then just zoom straight into their shoes and their board. That's not how a skate video should really be filmed. At least in my opinion, okay? My opinion really doesn't matter at all, but I wanted to share it anyway. Leave a comment below, start a discussion, you know, start a heated argument if you want to. Tell me if you love this video. Tell me if I'm completely wrong and you hate me for this opinion, or, you know, hopefully some people agree with me and we can start a discussion. No hate towards Strubeck at all. No hate towards Supreme. No hate towards any of the skaters. All of those guys did a great job, but I think this is just something that we got to talk about. Even in an amazing video with amazing skating, if something's not great in it, I think we need to still criticize it and talk about it. I hope this doesn't turn out to be like a Gifted Hater rip-off video, but he can't be the only person out there criticizing things in skateboarding. We all gotta start being a bit more, you know, to share our opinions a little bit more and whatnot, because it's only gonna help skateboarding in my opinion. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, I will catch you in the next video. Yeah, peace.